let's be honest. You're horrible at the game. Your artist, it's G-code. You're not very good. Or, you're like me, and your artist is actually pretty decent. But, just like me, you still really suck at the game. Congratulations! You're in the top 90% of players who will never amount to anything in their entire lives. Here is how you can fix this. Number 1. While yes, your keyboard does help a lot, and having a good keyboard is definitely required to be able to play levels, especially consistently, it's rarely the problem until you get into Extreme Demons. You aren't a list player, okay? Your issue is not your polling rate. Unless you're on like a $20 membrane e-waste piece of shit keyboard that came with your Optiplex, it's not gonna like be the main issue. Now, if that is the case, get a new keyboard. Like, that is really holding you back. Better keyboards help with your consistency though. So if you really think, like in my case, I think my keyboard is holding me back. If you really believe that your keyboard is like especially in wave and ship sections, is keeping you inconsistent, get a new keyboard. Because while it is rarely the only issue, it can be a main one. So I would say if you 100% believe it is your keyboard, then don't listen to me, bro. Get a new keyboard. Number 2. No, it is not CBF. People beat Zodiac on 144 Hz. No CBF, right? It's not really going to help you that much until you get into like the top. Now, I would have said top 200 or top 150 like a year and a half ago. But nowadays, the top 300 is fucking Sonic Wave. So I would say top 300 is probably where it's going to start to help you a little bit. And you're probably not going to notice it that much until you get into like main list-ish difficulty. Like Zodiac, it might help you. Like levels like Zodiac, it might help you. But Zodiac is a very accessible level, whereas Cobwebs is very short and very hard. So you'd notice it on Cobwebs, but not as much on Zodiac. So it definitely depends on the type of level you're playing, but you're not really going to notice much of a skill boost until you get into the top 300 or so, and you're really not going to notice much until you get to the top 150. Number 3, if your hardest isn't an extreme, it isn't commonly going to be your refresh rate. I'm not going to say rarely like I did with keyboard, but it can honestly, it could be rarely. So it isn't going to commonly be your refresh rate. Now, I do want to clear some things up here. It is a significant portion of the time going to be your refresh rate, as long as you're under 120 FPS. If you are under 120 FPS, you are handicapped. You're gonna struggle to beat easier levels, right? Even if your hardest is a hard demon, getting a better, like, using the in-game bypass or the bypass on Mega Hack or whatever you have is going to definitely help you out, at least a little bit, right? So while it isn't commonly going to be your refresh rate, it is a massive handicap no matter your skill at the game, and you should probably work that out. Now, let's get into the main reasons of why you actually do suck and how you can fix them. So, I have these in tiers where I'm going to list out levels that can help you with certain problems. I'm actually probably going to leave this for a different video, and I'm just going to do one video on each tier in each section because I don't want this video to be too long. Okay. Into the actual tips. Like, you've gotten the hang of the game, your hardest is like a hard demon, insane demon, extreme demon even. Here's the tips to actually progress at the game and get better. A lot of these are extremely important, and while I didn't use some of these until recently, despite knowing about them, I am using all of them actively right now to beat Zodiac. So, the first one I want to get right out of the way, you need to play memory levels. I don't care if you skipped from easy demon to extreme demon, right, and you're like the GOAT, and your hardest is Sonic Wave, and you have 47 extreme demons, okay, but you never played a memory one, so your consistency is probably dog shit on every single level, because playing memory levels early on doesn't matter the difficulty of them. Even if your hardest is fucking Tartarus, right, and you've never played a memory level, going and learning memory easy demons, memory medium demons, memory hard demons, no matter what, is going to help your brain's malleability, your ability to learn levels, your ability to to get levels consistent. Playing memory levels is like the golden key to beating other non-memory levels quickly. Memory levels take a lot of muscle memory, a lot of working memory, and a lot of recognition memory, okay? It takes a lot of all of that. So, beating a few memory levels every now and then is going to help keep your brain refreshed. It's going to help keep you consistent at levels, and it's going to make non-memory levels feel so much more consistent, even if they're really, really hard. Tip number 2 is probably not going to be needed that much until you get into mid-tier extremes. But if you're really struggling to learn a part's click pattern, slow the level down to like 0.3, 0.4, 0.5x speed. Learn the click pattern, then move it up. Let's say you start at 0.5, right? You learn the click pattern, you speed it up to 0.6, and then you speed it up. Let's skip 0.7, right? You just go to 0.75, right? And then go to 0.9. And then if you're really struggling, you go to 1. And then you're struggling at 1, go back down to like 0.85, and just find like your little sweet spot, right, to learn the click pattern. It can really help you from banging your head against a wall trying to learn a very learny click pattern-y part. So I would definitely recommend it. It's a pretty common tip you hear a lot of pro players try to tell you. This is not going to be like a normal tips and tricks video that you see from a random Brazilian with 2,000 subscribers who says Cataclysm is the best easy extreme to play, okay? This is coming from someone who's been playing the game since mid-2018. This is someone who uses these tips to progress, is actually good at the game, uses these tips constantly to progress. This is not going to be some random guy with no ball knowledge, I promise. So you really do need these tips because some of these are deep cuts that no one's talking about. Alright, so this is also like most people learn this very, very early on in their career without having to be told this, but learning levels backwards is the best way to learn them. It's amazing. Okay, so you learn from 90 to 100%. Okay, that's great. Now you go to 80, 85, right? If you learn from 0, right, you're just pretty much brute forcing your way through the level, learning new click patterns forwards. So what happens is you're like, oh, I just did this whole part, this entire 10%. You get to the next 10%, you have no idea what you're doing. So you can't get a run for the life of you. So what you do is you play backwards. You get 90 to 100, okay? And then you go and play from 80. Once you get 80 to 90, it's like, oh shit, I already know how to play 90, 80 to 100 like that, okay? It keeps the level more engaging. You're going to be playing the drop way more often. So you're playing the fun part of the level. You know how the next part plays because you already did that to 100. You see that 100%, so it's more satisfying. And above all else, it helps you get the ending way more consistent. Me, I struggle with endings, even if they're fucking easy demons. I struggle with endings. I died at 98 on literally everything. So really, okay. So this is a tip that I used when I was shit at the game. My hardest was Windy Landscape, and it was taking me like 10,000 attempts to do one of the easiest extremes in the game, okay? This is what I did. I didn't play any long levels for a while. This was a really bad idea. Don't do that. But I played challenges. I pretty much only played challenges. I kept making hard challenges for myself. I had my friends make challenges for me. I was part of a challenge list, so I was just playing hard. Challenges all the time. Challenges are very, very good because they're so short. If you beat Bloodbath, right, you're like, yes, I just beat Bloodbath. But you beat a challenge that's the same difficulty as Bloodbath. The challenge is only 16 or so seconds long, right? So the challenge it's all right there, right in your face, okay? So it helps you get used to tighter, harder clicks. And even though it's shorter, so it's not really helping with nerve control, it does really, really help with raw skill. And if you're playing challenges for skill sets you're not good at, within a week, within a few days, you're going to be noticeably, significantly better at that skill set that you were struggling with if you just play a bunch of challenges with it. Another one, it's kind of like the challenges, but you do need a good warm-up. Like, you really absolutely need a good warm-up. Warm-up is very, very important and can actually help improve overall skill. Getting a few levels and putting them in your daily warm-up routine can not only improve your immediate skill, but over time improve your actual overall skill at the game. So, like, if you're throwing yourself at a level, like, just you get on the game, you throw yourself at Zodiac, you're going to struggle to be able to do the click patterns properly because your muscles, they're cold. They're not, it's been like fucking who knows how long since you've done something. So your finger's not going to be as responsive, your reaction time's not going to be as responsive, and even if it was, like even if it is, your finger's going to be really slow and it's going to be stiff and struggle to do the click pattern. Warming up can be really important for immediate skill, but over time, if you warm up with skill sets you're not good at, or skill sets you already are good at, and you just keep increasing the challenge, like the difficulty of your warm-ups, with your skill range over time, it's gonna do the same thing as like completing challenges, because you're playing these warm-up, like these like skill sets every single day, you're gonna get better at them. When learning and playing a level, make sure to limit your playtime to like an hour and a half. I usually do not do this. I only started recently doing this with Zodiac, even though I've known about this trick for like a year at this point. This is a deep cut that I've seen like one person talk about, and he wasn't even talking about it in a tips and tricks video. He was talking about it because he was trying to make his girlfriend a pro player in like 30 days. You only really see this happen because he was running his own experiment. Like, this isn't like a common thing that people talk about. Your brain's malleability, once you've done something consistency for long enough, usually around an hour or two, it stiffens. So your ability, malleability is your brain. Your brain is like Play-Doh, it's like clay, right? And what happens is it molds to whatever you're doing. And after a while, that Play-Doh is going to harden and it's going to stick to that mold. And that's how your brain is, okay? And what happens is your brain sticks to this mold of this click pattern. So you're going to get 85 every attempt at this point. You're like, wow, I'm so close to beating it. But you're not. You're just going to keep dying to 85, 86, 87, right, over and over again, because your brain is used and it's molded to get all the way to 87 and then die. So, honestly, you're not going to want to limit your playtime to an hour. You don't have to, but this is like very, very helpful to, like, because if you don't care about throwing yourself out attempts and you're not going to get mad and stuff, then whatever, it's fine. But honestly, it's something that I'm using for Zodiac because Zodiac's actually hard. Sleep buff is also real. This is something I hear a lot of people talk about. This is a common tip, but yeah. Sleep buff is real. Your brain reinforces and learns muscle memory while you're asleep. So learning a level before bed and waking up, you're going to be way better at the level than if you just played it at night while you're tired. Because again, your brain's malleability isn't very good when you're tired, okay? So you're going to get to 85 every attempt because your brain has pretty much reinforced itself to get to 85 every attempt like a robot over and over again, right? But it's going to be hard stuck to like create new muscle memory. So you're not going to be, so it doesn't matter how much you practice 85, if you've been playing for too long or you're too tired, you're not going to be able to learn it better. So you're going to get from 0, your brain's going to go right back to what it was doing before, and you're going to die to 85. Honestly, the most important thing I can think of here is to just keep the game fun. If you hate a level, or you're getting mad at it, just stop playing it. You can come back to it later when you're having a better time. Because the game is absolutely 90% mental. Every top player will tell you this. Like, it's 90% mental. If you're letting a level get to your head and you're getting annoyed and irritated, you're going to tilt and you're not going to be able to do it. It doesn't really matter how good you are at a level if it's getting in your head, okay? Because your consistency is going to get thrown right out the window and you're just going to keep dying to the same stuff over and over again. If you don't believe you can do it, you're not going to be able to do it. This is also really common in psychology. If you get under a bench press and you have, let's say you have 185 low jump or something, right? Like, and your max is 180, right? But you don't know if you can get 185, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can get it, and you're not confident in yourself. That weight's not coming up, or probably not coming up, anyways, right? So, it's no different with literally anything else ever. If your brain doubts itself, it doesn't try to even do it, because it's over. It doesn't think it can, so why would it try? Regardless of if you think you're trying. So, really, do not let yourself tilt. So that's probably just it for this video. I will do the Extreme Demon video in like a week, and then I'll put out the easy and insane demon videos like later on this month probably. But yeah, I mean, I'll see you guys in the next one, right?